all you would need to do is go to VIEISME.com, VISME.com, and that's where you will find everything about Memoirs of a Forgotten Child and also what I've been up to. I do daily blogs, so it would be in the blog section. I also do YouTube videos, so it would be in the YouTube videos. And for the book, you can either go to the book, which details what's inside the book and the reason of it coming into existence. And if you already know all that because you watched all my YouTube videos, then you go to the store tab. And at the store tab is the back cover and the front cover together. And you would just click the miniature version of the book, and then you would get to the book page. And then you get to the cart, and all you gotta do is click add cart and proceed from there. This video is going to be a mixed match of different topics. I didn't get a chance to talk about Lady Gaga's Oscar performance, recently what's going on with Katt Williams, and Take Care of Your Body. So I thought that this would be the perfect video to add all three together, because at the end of the day, they all relate to your body and obviously different parts of the body. So I did watch Lady Gaga's Oscar performance. I thought it was spectacular. It took very much courage to talk about such a taboo topic as sexual violence. She put out a song called Till It Happens to You. I actually saw the video before the Oscars, and I thought it was very powerful how it was based on a college campus, and you saw different women, different backgrounds, even sexual orientations that have the same thing in common, which is being sexually violated. Lady Gaga came to the conclusion to even put the song out there because she was sexually violated when she was in college. And because of that experience, she felt the need to put out the song Till It Happens to You. And obviously, Till It Happens to You means that you won't understand what it's like to be a victim, to be violated, to be hurt, to be traumatized until you have personally been in the same situation. And it's not saying that everybody should be raped, so, misery loves company type of thing. It's more like, if you have never experienced this, if you have never had a close friend who's experienced this, a family member who experienced this, you have no idea what it feels like. So your judgment, your criticism, your opinions are totally invalid because you don't know. And from a survivor standpoint myself, I totally understand where she was coming from. Like I said, I think it was very brave of her to take a stand on such a public forum as the Oscars to do this. And she had 50 other survivors, men and women, behind her with the line Till It Happens to You. And I thought it was very brave of them to do so. We all know Lady Gaga for her controversies and her less than normal attire and behavior, but I think to take such a serious stance on such a taboo topic, I give her all the kudos in the world. And she's not the only celebrity who's been sexually violated. Chris Brown has been sexually violated. I think Roseanne Barr has been sexually violated. Marilyn Manson, the rocker guy, he's been sexually violated. And many other celebrities. And I just think this topic needs to be had. And not because I think sexual abuse or sexual violation is such a great thing. I think it happens. It happens to everyone, from children to elderly and everybody in between. So it needs to happen. Statistics show that a black woman by the age of 18 most likely will be sexually violated. More than 50% will have some type of sexual violation. So why aren't we having it? And from a survivor standpoint, I meet too many women on the daily basis who have been sexually violated. It just hasn't been spoken about, especially in the black community, because it's such a taboo. And I understand, because from a child's standpoint, how can you say Uncle Jimmy violated me if everybody loves Uncle Jimmy? Jimmy is the foundation of the family. How can you break that sanity? How can you break that facade? You don't want to be held responsible for that. And what if people don't believe you? And most people who have been sexually violated, they know who the perpetrator is. So it's not necessarily some guy in a trench coat in a playground looking at children go down a slide and jerking off. it's a pastor, it's a cousin, it's an aunt, it's a priest, it's a coach, it's someone that you know, which makes it even more scarier. And I understand why children don't feel like they can tell somebody, because we tell children what to do before being sexually violated and after, but we don't tell children in the moment. For example, I write daily blogs. This is not a shameless plug, but I do write daily blogs, so check them out. They are bomb.
If I do say so myself.
But I did write a blog post about this. We tend to tell children when it comes to fire drills, stop, drop, roll. If you live in states like California that have earthquakes, you have earthquake drills. But when it comes to a child being in a situation where they could be sexually violated, we don't have drills. We don't have guides. We don't have 12 steps that they can practice to defend themselves. But we as grown adults, as grown women, we have self-defense classes. If ever we are in a situation where someone tries to sexually violate us or tries to rob us, we can do a couple of moves and knock them down. But what does a child do? Because what if they're isolated and no one's there to hear them yell? What if they are overpowered? What do they do? And I feel like it's a grave injustice for us as a society to know sexual abuse happens, very prevalent, especially in the state of Massachusetts. I swear to you, every week there is someone on the news who messed around with a kid, who touched a kid, who raped a kid. And I'm like, if this is happening on a daily basis, why aren't we talking about it? It's happening in the churches. The Catholic priests came out in mid-2005 where they were coming about a boatload that they were touching little boys. So this is not something that just happens in lower income or a racial thing or a social economic thing. This is happening across borders, but why aren't we having this conversation? I know it's taboo. I know it's not something that is a lighthearted conversation. It's not something that makes you laugh, but the more we deny it, it doesn't make it go away any sooner. So this needs to be had. And I like that she's saying it. I think more celebrities who have experienced sexual violation, like Madonna, they should come out and speak about it. But I'm not going to hold my breath and wait for celebrities to talk about something like this. I'm glad that Lady GaGa did, because she has a great following. She has a mass following and she is very iconic. So for her to do so was great. But I'm not going to hold my breath for other celebrities. I think it's average, everyday people, me and you, who have to have this conversation. And Kesha recently, another pop icon, she came out and spoke about her issues with her producer, Uncle Luke, her producer manager. I'm not really sure what he is for her, but he is accused of sexually violating her. She said that he raped her. And people have their skepticism about it. I can't say for sure he did. I can't say for sure he didn't. But what I will say is, I think it's absurd and a grave injustice for the justice system to look at her in court and say, hey, I know he raped you. I know that you're saying this, but you have a contract, and a contract definitely trumps you being raped. So I don't know what to tell you. I guess you're going to have to dress it all black or just cover yourself head to toe, because you still got to go into the studio. You still have a contract, and bob and weave those rapes. And I'm like, are you serious? Is this how we're living? And you wonder why a lot of victims don't come out and speak, because there are criticism, there are skepticism, and then you might turn around and have to work with your rapist. Like, are you serious? And Taylor Swift, I believe, gave money to her court fees so she can't continue battling. And a lot of other celebrities came out to speak on her behalf. Kelly Clarkson from American Idol, who's now like bigger than American Idol, came out and supported Kesha and had her own opinions on Uncle Luke. Dr. Luke. I've been saying Uncle Luke. I'm sorry, Dr. Luke. Dr. Luke. She had her own opinions about Dr. Luke and what type of character he is, and she's not too fond of him. And like I said, I don't know the details like that. I don't know what is true. Dr. Luke really may be a rapist, or he may not. But what I will say is that sexual abuse does happen, as well as false allegations. So that's why a lot of people do have skepticism. But I would think in the justice system that it's supposed to be about justice. You would never say to a victim, hey, money and contracts trump your sexual and mental health. So I don't know, I guess you're gonna have to wear a chastity belt because you gotta go get that money. I mean, really? But like I said, this conversation needs to be had. If you've been following my videos, you know that I do have a book out right now. It's called Memoirs of a Forgotten Child, and it is about abuse, specifically sexual abuse, and how it shapes a child. This is my personal account of being a victim who I believe now I am a survivor of it. And I put this out there not because I just am an open book, no pun intended. I put this out there because I just kept on coming into contact with women who have been sexually abused, young girls who have been sexually abused but don't have the courage or don't have the models for them to come out there and feel safe. So I felt like it was kind of my duty to do it because no one else was going to do it. But I'm glad that Lady Gaga took the step to put it out there. And if you'd like more information on Memoirs of a Forgotten Child, please go to vieisme.com, VIEISME.com, and you will find all the information that you need to know about Memoirs of a Forgotten Child. And if you are a survivor or you know someone who is in a trauma stage and they don't really know how to process it, please forward them my information and definitely grab a book for them. Lastly, I want to talk about Katt Williams. Now, Katt Williams have been in the news recently, well, for a couple of years actually, but most recently last week with his in and out jail stints and him acting a fool and, you know, him getting jumped at a Philly club. And I have seen his videos of him talking and his kind of erratic behaviors and his physical well-being, and I don't know he's on drugs. I'm not going to say he's automatically on drugs. He could be, or he could not be. I'm not there, so I'm not going to say he's a drug addict. But what I will say, and I also been in a blog about this, I'll put that information in this video. Like I said, I write daily blogs, and I was talking about the entertainment industry. It was based on Nina Simone, but I feel like all celebrities go through this in some part of their career is when you become famous. I think fame is a drug. I think fame in itself makes you crazy because you were born as little old you, no one really knew you like that. You had your friends, you had your family, and now you're in the spotlight and people demand so much from you that you become robotic and you do have a split in mental stability. And a lot of people may, if you're a woman, dismiss it as diva behavior when it really could be bipolar. And if you're a male, they kind of dismiss it as you're being crazy. You could either be called bipolar or just a drug addict. And I don't necessarily think it's drugs. I think it's just, it takes a toll on you. I don't know if that is the case for Katt Williams, but what I will say is that he really needs a break from stardom. He needs a break from his average day-to-day life, because I think a lot of people do use Katt Williams to put themselves on. They use what's going on with him in his mental state. They understand a lot of people are looking at him like he's a crackhead, and they're like, oh, let me antagonize him, let me get him to do something crazy, and I'm gonna call TMZ or I'm gonna put it out on the internet. And I'm like, these are the people you need not to keep around you, because these are the same people who will knock you down and find some way to kill you or put you in harm's way just so they can boost themselves up. And I think Katt Williams is just going through the cycle of fame. Everybody has been there before. You had Britney Spears, you had Eminem, he went through the whole drug thing. You had Richard Pryor, you had Dave Chappelle, where people are like, oh, he must be crazy because he wants to go to motherland, because who wants to go to Africa? But there are big corporations taking minerals out the soil for themselves on pennies off the dollar, but black man goes to Africa, he's crazy. But that's neither here nor there. But what I will say is that I think it has a lot to do with his mental state. And I do think fame and the obligations of fame and giving yourself to the audience, giving yourself to the world, giving yourself to everybody but you, and not being able to take a mental break, not being able to go away and just breathe. And people always saying things about you. Back then, you had to read the tabloids. You had to go on the radio. Now you got Twitter, you got Facebook, you got Instagram. You got every social media app is coming out monthly. It's hard to keep up with the social media. So you have people, regular people with their opinions who don't even know you. You have the magazines and the tabloids and TMZs and all these other people with their opinions, and they have a massive following, so their opinions travel faster, and your voice, even though you have a strong, powerful voice, is getting drowned out by other people and their opinions who don't even know you like that. So I do sympathize with celebrities because you really need a strong team. You need an agent. You need people who are there for you, not for the fame, not for the money, but they just want best for you. And sometimes the people who want best for you ain't really your family, ain't really your friends. You need to cut these leeches off. He needs to take a mental break away from everybody and everything, because I feel like if he doesn't get a hold on his life, he may just end up dead. The same people who encourage his behaviors, his erratic behaviors, him looking crazy, saying crazy things, are the same people who will be crying at his funeral and trying to cash checks in his name. So that is my views on Katt Williams. Hopefully he does get the help he does need. Like I said, I don't know if he's on drugs, but I do know from what he's displaying. But what I do know is that he definitely needs a break from fame. This is a little personal for me. For the last month, I've been going to sleep waking up with hives. And I know it's not bed bugs because I don't sleep at nobody's house and this mattress stays clean. But what I will say is that I don't know what it is. And like everybody else, I've been Googling things, and I Googled, and there's like a vast amount of things it could be. One MD done told me that I should have been died like 3 weeks ago. So I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, Wednesday, and I'm seeing what that is about. But I found out that it's not rare to go to sleep and wake up with hives. That isn't common as the cold, but it's not as rare as, like, I don't know, the Black Plague or something. And I'm sitting here like, what the hell? But also I'm like, the body is tough. We've been through things. We'll just, ride this out. This is nothing. And I made a blog again about this, about health is wealth, and that we as people tend to be like, look, a little cough ain't nothing, we can move on. Life doesn't stop for a cough, or this lump right here, that's nothing. I'll just put some Vaseline or whatever, some aloe vera juice, and keep on pushing. And that's kind of a problem, because we're not cats. We do not have 9 lives. We only have one body, and the older we get, the more it deteriorates. So we need to take special attention and special care when it comes to our bodies, and not to just view things as little things, because little things amount to bigger things. So that lump may just be a tumor. You don't know. You're not a doctor. Most likely than not. That cough may be pneumonia. There is such a thing as walking pneumonia, where you don't know you have it, but you do. And we as a society tend to put everything before ourselves. And we need to take care of ourselves. We need to take a moment to breathe, a moment to evaluate ourselves. Just not thinking that just because something appears out of nowhere, it's just nothing. Just like it appears, it can just disappear. And it may not be that case. And we need to value and cherish our bodies. Like the hives things I was talking about, I do tend to have random things that happen to me. Random bumps, random scars or whatever, and they pass away. And I don't pay attention to them, but this hives thing has been taking over my body. I got them like on my neck. I got them bloated on my arm. One arm looks like 15 pounds overweight. The other arm looks fine. And I'm like, I can't just keep on neglecting it because it's getting worse. And that's just one example. People ignore their bodies all the time until it's too late. And I know for Black people, which I added in the blog, I don't know if it's the stereotype of Black people don't like going to the hospital, so that's why I was just like, it's not that serious, or it's just me who just lets things slide, that we need to take a special care of our bodies, especially our mental health. You hear more and more stories of Black people doing things that we would quote unquote leave and say, oh, these are white people things. Now it's Black people doing the same things because we don't take special care to our mental and our bodies either. Whether we're significantly overweight or whether we are just allowing things to just fall through the cracks, we need to take care of our bodies, especially if you have children who are counting on you. I have no kids, but I do want kids, and I got to be alive and healthy to have kids. So, you need to be up on your body. You need to take cues. If you're feeling tired, check that out. Maybe you need a nap, but maybe it's something worse. You have a lesion. Maybe it's something that you could just put some cream on, or maybe you need to go to the hospital. You just don't know. So don't just push it to the side. Don't just overlook it. Don't just give yourself a little pep talk out of it, because you just don't know. You only have one body, like I said. So take care of it to the best of your abilities. It's better to be a hypochondriac than be a dead person. And you could have avoided it if you just went to the hospital. So that is my video. Hopefully it helps. I know I talked about 3 different topics, but it all relates to the body. So hopefully if it helps you, that's great. And if it could help somebody else, forward this information to them. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know your comments below about how did you feel about Gaga's performance. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think about her message of Till It Happens to You? Let me know what you think about Katt Williams. I know we could joke on him. I know we could crack on him, but it's scary. It's scary what fame does to people. You have now Orlando Brown, aka Eddie from That's So Raven. He's on the same line as him, and it's like this fame thing, it's one hell of a drug. So I'm not gonna laugh at him. I'm not gonna knock him. I could clown, but I'm not, because I'm mature and I don't like seeing people's downfalls. I'm not like disgusting like that. So leave your comments below. What do you think about that? Do you really think it's a mental issue? Do you really think he's on drugs? He really could be on drugs, but I just don't know, and I'm just not going to put it out there just to say that he is. So let me know below. And with certain mental health issues, you could look like you are a drug addict, but you're really not. Your mental state could be just that erratic that it does look like you're on drugs. It does make you look like you're a crackhead, but you're really not. It's just that you're mentally unstable. So. And finally, what do you think about average, everyday people not taking care of their body, who are letting things slide and not really taking to consideration it could be something serious, like these hives that just are coming out of nowhere overnight for me? So let me know below. And like I said, I write daily vlogs, so check them out at the website vsb.com. And as always, be blessed. And I